Alright, it's day before Easter, spring of 2025. I think it's the 19th April. So no leaves are out on the trees, so we're gonna look through the junk pile stuff in the woods so you can see stuff. Yeah, this actually has been cleaned up from when my dad passed away. I cleaned a lot of stuff out of here. There were a bunch of cultivator parts over there by that upside down water tank, and there's a Ford 302 under there, and the water tank was set on top of it to be some shelter, I guess. It had a bad crank. I got it from my uncle who's since passed away a few years ago. It's been there for 30 years now. All right, yeah, lots of junk and rubbish here. Old tires, rusted out feed basket. There's a sink, I think, came out of the trailer. It's Harvest Gold. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. That yellow thing right there is a oil filter. It would have been from Dad's 1956 Minneapolis Moline that he traded in '69. And I found a few of those old filters around here. Actually, one of the nicer ones, I put it inside because the paint's perfect. It's like that old diesel engine black tar oil. Seems to preserve things indefinitely. Yeah, some rocks here. I'm gonna try to get in here. I think today I'm gonna try to pull out a few items I want saved, because I had a scrap guy over here in the fall. There's another one of them filters. Maybe that one's a different one. This one looks bigger. Yeah, and there's another one right there. A couple more of these filters. Huge oil filters. I had a scrap guy over here to look at possibly cleaning some of this up. I mean, there ain't a lot of scrap metal. All the big stuff, I think I got most of the big stuff already pulled out of here. But couple things I want saved, and we'll point them out. I should get this branch out of here. These milk cans, they're pretty rough, but some people like these for decorative purposes, and they might be good enough for that. What do we got here? Three milk cans and a couple lids, and we got a couple old tractor seats. These aren't the real collectible ones that are cast iron. Yeah. Get this branch out of here so don't snap me in the face. And that item right there, the scoop. Need to pull that out of there. That's a scraper, and those were used to dig trenches and things. They would pull them. It's the pull point is flipped back. They'd have like a rope or cable on there, and then they would drag it, and the handles are rotted away. There was two wood handles on either side, kind of like wheelbarrow handles, and they were used to dig out basements and trenches and things. I remember it being over by the hog barn long ago, and it got moved. I believe this thing here is the bundle carrier from the old the binder. When they converted it to do a swather, they took off the bundle carrier, and it ended up in the woods. Yeah, lots of old empty rusty buckets and things here. Yeah, there's this scraper from another angle. Lots of old rusted out buckets. There's an old TV antenna, tire, woven wire fence stuff that was pushed in here to my dad. Dad pushed this and kind of pushed it up in a pile here some years ago, tried to make more room. And I think that's a hog water tank that galvanized back there. Woven wire, a mess. This is a chicken waterer. I don't know, I thought I saved these chicken waterers. Some of them Like this one's not a bad shape. That actually, someone might want that. I mean, I could probably sell it to somebody. There's some other chicken stuff in here. And another water laying there. I thought these were in the shed at one time, and he must have threw them out. A funnel. Another funnel. Some of this plastic stuff's newer. When I was growing up, I went digging through piles like this to dig out. I was looking for old license plates, and I did find some. I found a few bottles that I saved, and I think these might have been later trucked out. I mean, most of this stuff here probably dates from the 40s through the 60s. It looks like, I don't know what that is, has a handle on it. Oh, it's yeah, that was a like a hedge trimmer type, not a hedge trimmer, edging trimmer. Alright, more buckets, some bottles here. The ones with cork tops, those were the ones I was mostly looking for. And the other ones got screens on them. Yeah, a lot of stuff. More bottles. You can see all this stuff right now because the leaves haven't come out yet. Once the leaves are out, you can't see a thing. And then if you get out here and there's snow, you can't see a thing. Alright. From fruit jars. I wonder, yeah, these came out of the cellar, and I bet Dad just chucked them here. So some of these fruit jars might be good ones. Yeah. That I should collect out of here if they haven't got broke. You know, some of these ball jar, perfect mason. They're not busted. I should actually grab all the good ones out of here. These blue glass ones especially. Oh man, there's too much stuff to do in here. If I got to do it today, I'm only here today. I have time. That's a cur jar. Yeah, these all need to be. I should get. I wonder if I got any pails around here. A bucket. I'll come back later and grab some of these fruit jars, canning jars. A bunch of them got smashed, I see, but there's still some intact ones. Yeah, I need to find some buckets or something. This stuff here, those are some pieces from feed mill steam. Those are heavy enough. There's some worthwhile scrap metal there. A few more hog water tanks. That you can't go around that way. I need to. Yeah, I'll come back here. There's a bunch of concrete block. I think that came from the well pit up by the house when we filled that in back in 2003. Alright, I'm going to go around from the other side in the back, the further down the hill, because it's too inaccessible here. Another tire here. Grab some of these fruit jars, canning jars. Oh boy. Looks like the filter for something. There's some old barrels and stuff down there. Alright, I'm going to go down that way. Alright, a little bit different angle here. There's a little engine. That's like a headlight for some old truck I found years back. And pretty rough. Here's the mast for another TV antenna. Broken blocks. That the whole pile is mostly barbed wire and woven wire from pulled up old pasture fencing. There's looks like part of I think there's pieces of some horse eveners, steel ones in there. Some other kind of long thin bucket. Other barrels and things. More concrete block. Every old farm's got a rubbish pile, because back in the day they just threw stuff in a pile. Sometimes if there was all that wire Sometimes if there was a hole or a ravine or a ditch, they would fill it in with that kind of thing. So that pile right there is busted up plaster from the house when Dad remodeled it in 25 years ago. They just chucked all the busted plaster in there and lath and stuff. Some galvanized corrugated tin. And those things I think were used for the original trailer because one side's rusty. The other side isn't because it was in the dirt. More barbed wire. Yeah. Alright. I think where did I see that? Or is that where we were before back there? I think so. Yeah. This is just some old snow fencing here because we used to have snow fence in the pasture along here. And another old TV antenna. All the metal that was over here from old cow stanchions, I picked that up and it's all in the scrap pile right now for cleanup eventually. Alright, I'm going to go find some buckets or something. Maybe something in the woods here is intact enough to gather up those canning jars. Then I won't have to go find another one. Alright, I was exploring further in here and I found something I hadn't seen for a long time. Wasn't sure where it was. I wonder if that canner there's got a good bottom to put junk in. I should grab that out of here. It's no good for what it's supposed to be for, but if it's somewhat intact, it can be used to carry things out. So there's another can and bottle pile over here. I don't know if I remembered this one. Oh, yeah, right. More stuff. Yeah. More. This is actually the woven wire fence that used to be around the house up there. And I didn't realize it was here, so that's okay. It was put in the 40s around the house to keep the chickens away from the house and the grandma's flower beds. So I found next to this pile of concrete block, it was from the well pit. Now there's an old water heater out here too. Great. Any rate, here, let's make our way here. More woven wire. So, here, right there, is the remains of a wagon axle and some other parts from said wagon or buggy or whatever it was. See this, that loop there, that's the steel rim of one of the wheels, and you can see there's another one over there. That item there is has something to do with coal or something. But there's the round pieces are all the metal parts from the axle and the wheel. So there's another hoop or a tire over there, or rim. So there's like three of those here, and I don't know, one axle maybe. Not exactly sure. I mean, a person would have to excavate. I have it in my memory finding this stuff 40 years ago as a kid, and some of the wood was still there at that time. And obviously it looks completely rotted away now. But now I know where it is. I thought for some reason it was further down the hill somewhere. But hadn't laid eyes on this stuff for, yeah, about 40 years probably. Yeah, more, see, axle parts. This probably should get dug up out of here for the scrap man. I'll let him know where it is at some point. Because otherwise, once this is all growed in around here, you can't see a thing, and it's hard to find anything. It's amazing how certain things end up out here. At one point I actually cleared out the small brush here for a ways and it's all grown back in, but that was probably 40 years ago. That looks like part of a post, a telephone pole. It's got creosote on it. Yeah, so that's the back side of that other stuff we looked at. And yeah, hog waters, that's what they are. The smaller one was for the little pigs, and yeah, the bigger ones. There were a lot more of those. There's some of them in the other scrap pile up by the barn. So I don't know how many of these there ever were, but a lot of them. Over the years, you know, they rust out eventually, or the pigs beat the crap out of them, and or something happens to them, so they got to get a new one, and out they go. All right, I'm gonna go over to the stuff I did pull out. I'm not gonna walk through here. I'll take the easier path out. So I think I went through all of the jars here, and all the name brand ones I pulled out that weren't broken. And the ones you see here that aren't broken they don't have any markings on them at all. And some of those very likely are things like mayonnaise jars or peanut butter jars. I'm pretty sure, you know, that one there that has kind of like barrel shaped you know, molding on it is actually a peanut butter jar from back when. So, I mean, these don't have a ton of value anyway, but I'm not going to pull anonymous ones out. You know, I guess they're decorative to somebody, but they're not valuable enough for me to mess with. Because I'm sure I'll have these for a while, trying to get rid of some of this stuff later. All right. All right. Here's what I pulled out. Old granite canners are in this other bucket, or just to haul things in these jars. So we got the square one there, I think is a milk bottle. You got another mason jar. That's a brown glass Hilux bottle with the little handles on it. I've actually got a few other ones of those. One or two are larger. And then I have all these mason jars. And we got a couple of these. I think there's two of them, these Atlas ones that are square shaped, and I saved from the broken ones some of these galvanized lids that looked okay, because you could put them on for decorative purposes with fake things in them. Yeah, and then we have a really large ball jar. Yeah, most of these are ball. There's a couple Kerrs and a couple of Atlases. And this is a kickstart little engine that I found this years ago. Must have been on a washing machine or something. That headlight, some other iron rod pieces, and a chain just for scrap metal to weld up if I need. And then this is the remains of a horse harness set. The wood is all rotted away, but I saw it because of the brass end on it. I actually have a couple of these that are completely intact that were from the last used when the horses were still on the farm in the early 50s. And I have all the leather harness from those too. All, you know, very hard and dry, and not worth a whole lot. Old tack like that, I don't think it's worth much. I got two seats. This Red Wing chicken feeder thing, or is that a chicken feeder? Yeah, it's just parts of it, and the only reason it's interesting is the side that has the Red Wing Stoneware Company labels are intact. It's kind of cool looking. I did find another lid, and I found also some cockroaches. So I got 3 milk can lids, and we got 3 milk cans. They're all rough, they're rusted out. But people sometimes like to use these for planters and things, so they're good enough for that. You paint them up and you set your flower pot or whatever on the top, or whatever you're going to do. So they're not all crunched in. This one's maybe slightly crunched in. Yeah. All right, some interesting junk pulled out of the rubbish pile here on the